Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and commissioners and staff, and welcome to the Planning Board special meeting for the City of Paterson on Monday, December 7, 2020, at 6:30 p.m. via webinar session. Chairwoman Janice Northrop, you may proceed.
Thank you. Please rise for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
so one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Thank you. You may continue, Chairwoman Northrop.
Okay. Commissioners, Planning Board staff, ladies and gentlemen, as Chairwoman of the City of Paterson's Planning Board, I call this meeting of 12/7/20 to order. I hereby state that all the provisions of the State of New Jersey Public Meeting Law have been fully and completely met, that the notice of provisions required have been properly posted in the Planning Board office and with the City of Paterson clerk, that the public notice and advertisements have been published in the Herald News on 11/24/20 in accordance with the law, that the copies of such notice and public advertisements are on file in the Planning Board office, as is also the agenda listing the applications to be taken up by the Planning Board at this meeting. The procedure tonight will be in accordance with the rules, regulations, and bylaws as heretofore determined by the Planning Board and its office and the municipal complex in the City of Paterson. Roll call, please.
Commissioners, Vice Chairman Fisher? Vice Chairman Fisher, are you there, sir? Continuing, Commissioner Ahmed?
Present.
Commissioner Brooks?
Here.
Commissioner Savalos? Commissioner Cleaves? Thank you. Commissioner Savalos, thank you. Commissioner Cleaves, thank you. Commissioner Santana? Duly noted, Commissioner Cleaves. Commissioner Santana?
I'm here. This is Commissioner Santana.
Thank you. Commissioner Issa is absent. Commissioner Udine?
I'm here, Madam Secretary.
Thank you. And congratulations on your new life.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Commissioner Cook is out today. He's he's out. Anyway, Councilman Velez, are you there, sir? That's a no. Commissioner Fisher, Vice Chairman Fisher, are you present, sir? I do not see him. We'll return to that vote if he does attend later on. But I think that he did have 2 webinar sessions with the City of Paterson school system, so I'm going to mark him absent until he retrieves his meeting status. And Chairwoman Northrop?
Yes, thank you.
We have 7 commissioners present and 4 absent. This is your roll call, Chairwoman Northrop.
Thank you. Okay, notice pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act addressing effective coronavirus measures on the next public meeting. Consistent with the coronavirus-related restrictions of Executive Order Number 107.
I apologize. We need to change the meeting number, which I will do. At the next meeting, it's 7/11, the meeting ID 680-001.
Wait, I'm sorry, I need to get a pen. It's, meeting ID number is?
711.
Right.
680.
Yep.
001.
Okay, got it.
Mr. Aquaviva, I'd like you to do as well. Can you change your notes?
Sure, give me that number again, I missed the last.
It is not, only the meeting ID number is 711-680-001. The reason I have not put it on the advertisement or the agenda is because it's always changeable, but I can do this at the meeting. But I will continue to check with IT to make this properly done. Thank you.
Okay, consistent with the coronavirus-related restrictions of Executive Order Number 107, Given on Saturday, March 21st, 2020 by Governor Philip D. Murphy, the Planning Board of the City of Paterson will not conduct in-person participation of the public at all future meetings until further notice. However, public participation will be available by means of communication equipment pursuant to NJSA 10:4-8, commencing on April 15, 2020. Though there may potentially be a practical need for a limited number of administrative, technical, or other city personnel to be present in or near the council chambers, 3rd floor, City Hall, 155 Market Street, Paterson, New Jersey, in-person participation of the public is prohibited. Nevertheless, for reasons of compliance with the said executive order number 107, public participation will be available by calling 973-321-1579, which I will repeat later on, and the meeting ID number is 711-680-0001. Planning Board special meeting on Monday, December 7, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. On the date and time that the meeting is scheduled to commence, the public may also participate in the meeting by accessing the website of the City of Paterson, www.patersonnj.gov, and following the email link for the meeting, www.patersonnj.gov/planning board. I will tell you that I hear some background noise. Somebody's got something on in the background. I can hear it. So maybe IT could find out who that belongs to?
I just did.
Okay, all right. So, who is representing this evening, New York SMSA Limited Partnership?
Yes, good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Frank Ferraro, firm of Ferraro and Stamos, here on behalf of the applicant, New York SMSA Limited Partnership, doing business as Verizon Wireless.
Okay, fine. All right, so, you're representing them. Are you the attorney?
That is correct.
Okay, all right. So, New York SMSA Limited Partnership, acting as Verizon Wireless, 67-85 Hamilton Avenue, 70-92 Hamilton Avenue, and 85-87 Fair Street, Block 3708, lots 2, 3, and 4. The applicant proposes to place rooftop wireless communication antennas and other equipment on a new platform on the roof of an existing 4-story commercial building. The parcel has total area of 2.13 acres. And this proposal is located in the R3 high medium density residential zone. It requires conditional use, site plan approval, and bulk variances. Mr. Deutsch, would you like to give us your review, please?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Taxes and sewer charges are paid to date. Presently, no cellular telecommunication facilities of any kind are located on this building. Cardell Land Surveying has prepared a boundary survey dated August 10, 2020. The property is flag-shaped. The northern lot line measures 353.03 feet and is adjacent to the Triangle Village properties. Parcels also have frontage along Bridge Street to the west and Paterson Street to the east. The southern property line is adjacent to vacant land owned by the City of Paterson. The property owned by Paterson was recently under construction for below-ground, state-mandated sanitary sewer compliance. The combined parcels contain 92,846 square feet. The parcel contains the 4-story building and the adjacent parking lot, which has existing driveway access to both Bridge Street and Paterson Street. The survey indicates that at one time Hamilton Avenue, which exists to the east of Lot 2, extended across the current parking lot to Bridge Street to the west. The building is owned by Verizon and is utilized as a telephone switch and data facility. In a letter dated September 11, 2020 from Frank Ferraro, the applicant requests to install a rooftop wireless facility to replace the 2B decommissioned facility at 204-206 Manhattan Street, approximately 0.3 miles from the proposed relocation. XCA Architects has prepared a 12-page site plan revised to August 24, 2020. Drawing Z1 indicates the title page, location, key location map, general notes, and the list of drawings. Drawing Z2 indicates the 200-foot radius and property owner's list and the tax block and lot information. Drawing Z3 indicates the aerial and zoning map. Drawing Z4 is the site plan and zoning information page. The existing four-story building that is to have the 12 mounted antennas on its roof is located on the Paterson Street side of the building. There are three proposed sectors of antenna: the alpha sector, the beta sector, and the gamma sector. There's also a proposed 227 square foot equipment platform proposed to be supported from existing building columns. Each antenna sector will include 3 antennas. The proposed alpha sector will be placed 23 feet and 7 inches from the property line, and the equipment cabinets will be placed 66 feet and 5 inches from the building property line. The enlarged site plan indicates that the antennas will face north, south, and east. Drawing Z5 is the enlarged upper roof plan. The gamma sector antennas will be placed on the northwest corner. The beta sector antennas will be placed on the southwest corner, and the alpha sector antennas will be placed on the southeast corner of the building. 4 equipment cabinets will be mounted to a proposed steel platform on the rooftop, along with proposed electric and fiber cabinets. 2 GPS units are proposed to be mounted to the platform rail. Drawing Z6 and Z7 are the site elevation plans. The building has a height of 69 feet and 6 inches to the existing main parapet, and 84 feet 4 inches to the top of the existing penthouse parapet. The top of the proposed equipment cabinets is a height of 87 feet and 6 inches. The cellular antennas will have a top height of 91 feet and 4 inches. Each antenna will be placed on an antenna pipe mast. Drawing Z8 is the equipment plan and elevation. Drawing Z9 is equipment specifications. Drawing Z10 is equipment cabinet specifications. Drawing Z11 are antenna, RRH, and GPS details and specifications. Drawing Z12 are miscellaneous site details. The building is set back 1 foot and 6 inches from the Paterson Street property line. This application proposes no changes to the principal structure. This application proposes only the placement of cellular antennas, electronic equipment, and a steel platform on the building's rooftop. All non-conforming conditions exist and will not be increased as a result of this proposal. The applicant shall advise if they propose to have all 12 of the proposed antennas and support masts painted to match the building facade. Prior to construction, a structural elevation of the existing rooftop to determine its ability to support the proposed antennas, any required screening, and the equipment platform shall be performed to determine if the existing structural elements of the rooftop structure are found to have adequate capacity for the imposed loads. TK Design Associates has prepared an 8-page report that indicates color photographs taken from each of the 4 buildings' elevations that indicate before pictures of the building without the antenna locations and photographs of the building simulating the elevation view with the antenna located. Andrew Paterson, engineer of DBM Engineering, has submitted an 8-page electromagnetic exposure analysis report dated August 28, 2020. The report concludes with the statement, to date there have been no credible studies conducted whose results showed evidence of any adverse health effects at the applicable FCC exposure limits. Mr. Paterson has also prepared and submitted a 12-page radio frequency design analysis report dated August 28, 2020. The report includes the following statement. The proposed facility is extremely well suited to replace the wireless service that will be lost with the decommissioning of the current Paterson 2 site at 204 Manhattan Street. Section 500-5.33 of the Paterson Land Development and Zoning Ordinance permits commercial wireless telecommunication services by conditional use subject to subsections A through P. The applicant, through testimony and presentation, must demonstrate that this proposal is in technical compliance with the required subsections, and if not, that the remaining subsections will be complied with, or that the steps necessary to comply with issues of future compliance will be performed. In a letter dated October 23rd, 2020, from Jason Miranda of the County of Passaic Planning Department, the site plan has been granted unconditional approval. The City of Paterson engineer shall review the plans. This rooftop wireless telecommunications facility is to be unmanned. No ground disturbance is proposed. Some concluding remarks. The applicant requires conditional use approval to locate wireless telecommunication antennas on the roof of an existing 4-story commercial building with frontage along 2 municipal streets, Bridge Street and Paterson Street. This proposal is in the downtown section of the city. The planning board must determine that the applicant meets all conditions required in the zoning ordinance. The cost of this proposal has not been provided. That is your staff review for this proposal, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you, and let the record reflect, I see Councilman Velez is in attendance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. May I have the address of this project, please?
57-85 Hamilton Avenue. 70-92 Hamilton Avenue. 85-87 Fair Street. Okay, Mr. Ferraro, please go ahead.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you, and thank you, Mr. George, for that summary of the application. We do have 3 witnesses for you tonight. First will be our radio frequency engineer to go over the need for this particular site, as well as the compliance with the FCC emissions standards. We have Frank Palicerto, who's our architect, who will review the site plans which is been submitted, and then Tim Crock, our planner, who will review the ordinance as well as the photo simulations provided. As was indicated, this application is being brought to the planning board really for one reason, and that is Biden is losing the facility at 204 Van Houten. It has to come down. They were notified of that earlier this year. That is the Morrison Machine Company building. And so once that site is decommissioned, Verizon will not have any service in this downtown area unless a suitable replacement site is found, and then that is how this application came before the board. So unless there's any initial questions or comments, Madam Chair, I would call our first witness.
I just have one comment, I just wanna make sure. You're just moving, these 12 antennas are already on a site, not too far away, and they're just being moved to this site, correct?
In a nutshell, Madam Chair, but
Well, I was summarizing.
yes, and you're summarizing it, it's essentially correct. It's just that there's 12 antennas over there. This new facility will actually only have 9 antennas.
Oh,
The antennas will actually be a little newer than the ones that were over there.
right.
What you just said is, yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right, that's all I need to know, nothing crazy going on here, okay. Please call your
Before
first.
you continue, Madam Chair, may I just
Yes.
ask Councilman Velez a question?
Yes,
Councilman Velez, do you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir, Madam Secretary.
I hand deliver now your plans and all of the information that you need. Did you receive everything that I sent you for this meeting this evening?
Matt, when did you send it? Because I was in my office today, and the only thing I have is my agenda for
I
tomorrow.
sent it into your office on Friday. Should have been delivered.
I will find it in my office, but,
Thank you. I
okay,
just wanted you to know that I do hand deliver them.
Okay, no.
I
Thank
know
you.
you do diligent work, I know that.
okay, all right, fine, Mr. Ferraro, okay, please call your first witness.
Okay, thank you.
You're breaking up a little bit, so I don't know, there might be something going on with your microphone, but we'll figure that out later on, if you could just speak up a little bit, okay, thank you.
Operating.
Yes,
So our first witness is Andrew Peterson.
okay, I see him. He has to be sworn in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your full name for the record.
It's Andrew Peterson, Peterson.
Thank you.
And Mr. Peterson, could you review your background qualifications for the board and public?
Sure. I've been involved in the radio frequency design of these types of facilities now for over 2 decades. In that time, I've designed hundreds of these types of single facilities, and beyond that, thousands of overlay facilities. For instance, when we do an iteration in technology, we'll do clusters of sites at once and design them in that fashion, and sometimes as many as 100 sites at a time. So in that fashion, designed quite a few. I have undergraduate and graduate degrees in electrical engineering from Lehigh University, and I'm a licensed professional engineer in New Jersey.
All right, thank you. We accept him as an expert witness. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Peterson, the reports that were submitted dated August 28th entitled Radio Frequency Design Analysis and the report entitled Electromagnetic Exposure Analysis, were these prepared by you or under your supervision?
They were, yes.
And starting with the first report, which is the radio frequency design analysis, could you please explain to the board and public what the need for this site is?
Sure. As was mentioned earlier, the Verizon Wireless site that is existing on the rooftop at 204 Van Houten Street is going to be decommissioned. There is a issue there where the landlord wants us to remove the equipment. So what we're doing is building a replacement site, and as was correctly summarized, we're basically moving the equipment from one site to the other. Although we don't actually move the existing equipment, we have to build the site and get it ready. That way there's a seamless transfer. But in essence, that's what we're doing here. So if we were not able to build a replacement site, we would have a very noticeable change for the negative in the user experience in the area, not only from an in-building and on-street coverage perspective, but also from a capacity perspective, which would be quite negatively impactful to Verizon Wireless customers in the area. So it's a necessity that we build an adequate replacement for the existing site that's being decommissioned.
Okay, and I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I can go on with some exhibits. Shall I share my screen, or is it something that I can just refer to that if someone call I have?
No, I would prefer you put them on the screen for everyone to see. Thank you.
Okay.
So, excuse me, Mr. Ferraro, this includes your architects and everyone who is testifying. Please put everything on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm hoping everyone can see my screen at this point.
I believe we all can. Thank you.
Okay, good. So as the title of this slide indicates, this is the existing Verizon Wireless existing reliable coverage.
Excuse me, Mr. Peterson, this is Contact Wadiva, the board attorney.
Sure.
Was what the board is looking at right now, was that submitted with the application?
Yes, these slides are incorporated in the design report that I believe was submitted with the application.
Okay, so it's part of the design report?
Yes, this is part of the design report.
All right, so why don't we just mark it as A1, because it is not the entire report, it's a part of the report that is being testified to tonight. So, Madam Secretary, let's mark this as A1.
Okay, if I can ask a question, the letter that I see dated is August 28th, am I correct?
I don't
Or
see
Yes.
that's not it? That's
Madam
it?
Secretary, I don't
Yes,
see
that's
that.
it.
Yeah, all I can see in front of me
Oh.
is the.
I understand, but he stepped into the office, and the date that I have, and I'm looking at his exhibit, the letter states August 28, 2020, and this is correct, am I, okay in saying this?
Yes, this exhibit is actually identical to Figure 4 on page 7 of the letter you're referencing. If it's easier, I can simply share that letter and reference that directly.
I would like you to do that letter as
Yeah.
well, because
Why don't
I
you do
did not give it to the commissioner, so yes, I would like that, thank you.
Let me do that. I'll share that letter, that way we don't have overly redundant exhibits going on. Bear with me a moment.
Council, should we mark the entire radio frequency design analysis report?
Well, what I'm thinking is the entire, design analysis was submitted with the application, correct?
Correct.
Yes, absolutely, Mr. Aquaviva, as secretary, yes, he has.
Okay, so if he's testifying to a part of it, why don't we just mark them, individually?
Okay,
Because they're being he's not testifying to the entire report right now, that's submitted, he's only testifying to certain pages, so why don't we mark those pages individually?
okay, and Melinda, are you there, court reporter? How would you
I
like to
am.
mark these exhibits?
Well, he's got a reference and it should be A1.
Okay, Mr. Aquaviva, speak to the secretary and I will mark them accordingly.
Thank you.
So A1 is page 7 of the radio frequency design analysis report dated August 28, 2020. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And in particular, Figure 4.
Okay. And these exhibits we're about to mark in, they were either prepared by you or under supervision, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Please explain the exhibit A1.
Sure. So what A1 is illustrating, first and foremost, this is a map. Typical map features including roadways, waterways, railroads, things of that nature. Beyond that, we have some dotted icons. They are illustrated with the black dots that are kind of all over the map in this case. There's quite a few of them. Those are the existing Verizon wireless cellular facilities. They're all existing, with the exception of the one labeled Paterson 2 Reload, which I'm not sure if you can see my cursor, but is almost central to the exhibit, just north of central to the exhibit. That is the location of the subject property that we are here for this evening. Most central to the exhibit is the location of the Verizon Paterson 2 facility that is being decommissioned. However, this is the existing coverage, so in this case, Paterson 2 is on the air, along with the surrounding sites, and Paterson 2 Reload is turned off. And what we're illustrating in green, yellow, and red is the reliable Verizon wireless coverage with 3 thresholds from those facilities. Those thresholds are for in-building coverage, in-car coverage, and on-street coverage. As you'd expect, there's a more stringent threshold to provide service for an individual in a building because of the attenuating effects of the building material. Similarly, with a vehicle, there's also a more stringent threshold than for someone who is simply walking out on the street, which is why we have these 3 thresholds of diminishing footprint. And as you can see, we are providing with the existing setup relatively ubiquitous coverage here from an in-building or in-car perspective. However, if we now skip to the decommissioning of the existing site called Paterson 2, which is on the adjacent rooftop, we can see, and this is now Figure 5, which I guess we can make A2.
And this is 8 of your report, correct?
Yeah, page 8 of the report. You'll notice now if we turn off the Paterson 2 site, we lose a good deal of coverage to its north, and that area now becomes very spotty in yellow with a lot of red, indicating that we've lost almost all of the in-building coverage and a whole lot of the in-car coverage. So Verizon Wireless subscribers in that area are going to have a lack of ability to use their device in building and in car in any reliable fashion. And that's an issue, particularly in a case like this where folks are used to having service there. We never want to take away service. That's a surefire way to have customer complaints and issues when folks are used to having service in there and all of a sudden it goes away. So the proposed facility, if activated as designed, that coverage is being illustrated in Figure 6, which is page 9 of the same report. We can call that A3. You can see that we are replacing the loss of coverage now with the proposed facility. The proposed facility actually fits in very nicely with the other existing sites that are on the air. We fill the gap. We're also gaining a bit of coverage across the river. So we've found here a suitable replacement that's going to more than adequately fulfill the lost coverage. So it will be a seamless transition for the Verizon Wireless subscribers in the area.
And Mr. Peterson, your experience, is this type of computer modeling standard in the wireless industry?
It is. This computer modeling is done by a propagation modeling tool called ATOL. The Force company, which is a French company, they're the software manufacturers who develop this, and it is the industry standard. Many of the other Tier 1 providers use this propagation modeling software. And in my experience, it's very accurate. Verizon Wireless relies on it to make very important decisions with their network, so it's in their best interest to make sure it is as reliable as possible.
And is it your opinion that this replacement site is necessary in order to address this impending significant gap in the service coverage?
Yes, it is.
And the antennas that are being proposed in this application, in your professional opinion, are they being proposed at the minimum height necessary?
Yes, they are.
And the minimum height necessary in order to address this this upcoming area of deficient coverage?
Yes, that's correct.
With respect to your requirements, there are certain priority locations, and this is an 8 priority location, is that correct?
That's correct, yep.
Did you look at the possibility of moving further to the north in order to try to find an industrial or a PUID or zone?
Yeah, we did take a look around, including to the north for a higher priority site. There aren't very many tall buildings, particularly to the north, that would satisfy the height requirement for the facility. And beyond that, as we move further away from this area, if we refer back for a moment to Figure 5, which I believe was A2, you'll notice that this facility is clearly well suited, if not ideally suited. It's very central to the gap in coverage that opens up with the loss of the to be decommissioned site. So any significant movement in its location is going to result in a far less ideally suited location. We want to have our facility central to our gap in coverage. That way we can take advantage of all 3 of the sectors worth of coverage footprint, where we have nice balanced load on the new facility, and this location provides for that. So any significant move to the north, really, or to the south, east or west would upset that balance. So this is an ideally located candidate, which is part of the reason it was chosen.
Okay. And based upon your review, were there any existing co-location facilities in the area that Verizon could have took advantage of?
No, there were not.
Okay. So in your opinion and based upon your review, is this the highest priority location in the ordinance that Verizon could find and still address this gap in coverage?
It was, yes.
Is there any other exhibits in this report that you want to address from a coverage perspective?
No, I think we've hit the high notes of the report. There are some capacity aspects to this design, as was mentioned before. So if there are any questions on the capacity aspects, I'm happy to go through that. But the coverage plots that we've reviewed are really the meat of the design in this case.
Okay. Then I'm going to ask you with respect to your report entitled Electromagnetic Exposure Analysis dated August 28, 2020. I'm going to mark this report as A4. This is in the board's packet. Could you please briefly review the analysis and conclusions in this report and let the board and public know if the facility will operate within FCC allowable limits for radio frequency emissions?
Sure thing. I'm sharing that report now on my screen. It's dated August 28th, entitled Electromagnetic Exposure Analysis. The FCC has very specific guidelines for human exposure to electromagnetic emissions in the radio frequency bands, so the portions of the radio frequency spectrum that Verizon Wireless utilizes. Those exposure limits can be found in the FCC's OET 65 bulletin, which is the Office of Engineering Technology, Bulletin 65. Also within that bulletin are the very specific methods that folks like myself use to evaluate anticipated exposure levels from these types of facilities. Those methods include some worst case assumptions, which of course I apply when I perform any anticipated exposure analysis. In this case, using worst case assumptions for the power output, the operating times, the ground reflection, and some other worst case assumptions, the exposure levels would be less than 3.1% of the FCC standard at all locations of public access. So this facility will be compliant by a very wide margin, even assuming those worst case assumptions.
Thank you very much. Madam Chair, I have no further direct questions for Mr. Peterson.
Okay, thank you. At this time, then, I'm going to open it up to the public. So if anyone in the public has any questions, okay, Mr. Peterson, get my notes here. And it's only, excuse me, I'm going out to the public. If anyone has any questions of Mr. Peterson based on his testimony, not comments at this time, just questions, okay? Please call in at 973-321-1579. Okay, and the meeting ID number is 711-680-001. I will allow 2 minutes for call-ins, 3 minutes for questions. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes?
Okay, I know it's not for speed, but can I ask a question? This is the only item in the agenda we have?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay.
We have no callers at this time.
Okay, so commissioners, if you have any questions of Mr. Peterson, please speak up. Any commissioners?
Commissioner Cleese?
Yes, Commissioner, please go right ahead.
I have a question. I guess it may be for Mr. Peterson. How long is this transition going to take?
I may have missed, did you say how long will it take?
Yes, how long will the the transaction go? Yeah.
Well, I guess it depends on how long we can get all of our permitting in place and then the construction timeline. I know that the existing site is to be decommissioned as soon as possible. So there we may have another witness that can give you a better sense of that, as far as the timing goes.
Okay.
Because there are some other hurdles to overcome before we can.
Right. I think what we're looking at is if you jump all those hurdles, how long will that transition take? But if someone else can answer that question, that's great. Well, then we'll hold it off for someone else. Is that okay, Commissioner?
My second question is, your Verizon users, during your transition, will they lose service?
No, we'll have the new site ready and integrated into the network before we pull the plug, if you will, on the old site. That way there's a seamless transition.
Okay, thank you. Those are my questions. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you, Commissioner, please. Okay, is it Councilman Velez?
Yeah, thank you, yes.
Mm.
May I please? Thank you.
Yes, please, go right ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, board. I know, sorry, it's a past day. You see lights behind me. I'm not in the club. I'm in a restaurant, so just in case. I usually like nice, but I'm quiet over here. Thank you, gentlemen, for presenting tonight. I have a few questions. This is a pre-site, you're going to transfer one site to three, correct?
I don't think I understood that. I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
It's my understanding that you have a site in Manhattan Street that is no more longer is going to be utilized, and you're transferring that site to three locations in Paterson, or it's only three addresses in one location?
No, it's going to be a one-for-one swap. We're trading one rooftop installation for another.
I see Fair Street on the resolution, on the paperwork. What is that, 8587 Fair Street?
If I may, Mr. Peterson, Councilman, this particular property, because it's so large, it has 6 lots and has 3 separate addresses, but it is only one site, so it'll be one site for one site.
So let's go back and reflect that when I Google the address 8587 Fair Street, it's coming the other side of Paterson and not one side. I believe the site that we're talking about is a 100 Plaza, correct?
This site,
Hamilton Plaza, the one on downtown?
this site is it's adjacent.
Who is not going to this, please mute your microphone. Let the chairwoman directly speak.
This is Hamilton Avenue.
Oh, Hamilton Avenue, sorry.
Avenue, Hamilton Avenue, okay, and what they're saying is there's 3 different, because the area is so large, but it's only one building that they're gonna be putting this equipment on. Am I correct, gentlemen?
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay, so saying that 87 Hamilton, all right, is a private development, correct?
Okay, Mr. Councilman Velez, it's 8587 Fair Street, and it's 67-85 Hamilton Avenue. Okay.
So they gave the wrong address here.
No, they didn't. It's 67-85 Hamilton Avenue, 70-92 Hamilton Avenue, and 85-87 Fair Street.
That's what I'm saying. When I put 85, 87 Fair Street, is giving me in the corner a property that is empty lot right now.
No, I don't know.
Develop here, but it's on the corner, so it's called and also no.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. So in other words, you're telling me that you're going to put this towers at the Verizon building, correct? The one in the corner. Now we're talking about. But if we put 87 Fair Street, it's giving me an empty lot to the front. So forgive me if the Google map is not giving me the right building. But now I picture the building on the one at Verizon building there. That's where it's going, correct?
That's where it's going. It's going on that rooftop and only that rooftop.
Oh yeah, rooftop. Now, The towers on Hamilton, not Hamilton, sorry, the towers what's I just mentioned it now. The tower, Manhattan, are they was 5G or 4Gs?
The existing tower?
No, those are 160, 4Gs.
Yeah, the existing tower's a 4G installation. Yeah, the existing rooftop's a 4G installation.
So you transferring a new whole system, 5G towers on that new building.
The new facility will include all the legacy technologies, as well as the newer technologies, the 5G technologies.
5G technology. So let's stick on the 5G technology, okay? Because you get the report, but if I don't bring it up, you never mentioned 5G technology on it. My question is, because I don't have to report on you, can you give me a percent of exposure on the 5G new technology going up there as your report came as the FCC?
So it's going to be. I'm pulling up the design specifics now. Because it's a replacement for an existing tower, we don't want to. And forgive me if I'm kind of taking a long way around. I will answer your question, but it's important that you have a little bit more background. We will have all the older technologies as well, including 4G LTE and even 3G CDMA here, because it's replacing an existing site, and there are users in the area that are using those legacy technologies. And the reason I mention all that is so the 5G radios on here, of all the output power at this facility, they will be a relatively small percentage. And I don't have that broken out. I do have a breakout on page 7 of the emissions report where I break out by frequency. And those radios.
Can you give me the percent of exposure, and that will clear up my question. If you have the percent of exposure, you know, then I'm going to ask you another real important question regarding the position of the antenna. But I want to know what percent, based on your report, is the percent of exposure in 5G. I know we already in 4G, LE, and whatever, we know that. My concern is the 5G exposure.
Yeah, the 5G exposure, I don't have it broken out by technology because it's really, when we talk about exposure, it's really technology agnostic. It doesn't, the radio frequency emissions and radio frequency energy, and how that affects the human body, it doesn't really, and the FCC has found this as recently as November of last year when they reviewed the standards. They specifically studied if 5G was going to require any more stringent standard, and their findings that it does not. However, I don't have it broken down by technology, but if you'll look on, and I know you said you don't have the report, but folks that are following along on page 7, I do have a breakdown of the percent of FCC limits by bands. And in this case, 5G would be deployed in a portion of the 850 megahertz band. And in that band, the maximum percent of FCC limit is about 1.4%. So even if we assume that was entirely 5G, which I believe is typically going to be half and half, at least with their initial install. So even if we assume the upper limit there, we're less than 2% of the FCC limit being 5G in that 850 megahertz band, if that makes sense.
Okay, it makes sense when you tell me what the requirement of the FCC. Okay, and I'm not going to go against the Federal Communication Commission of their requirement to have it, regulate in that aspect, and they just put it in paper. But you cannot give me a percentage exposure that will affect human beings, all right? And I'm just gonna leave it like that. But this antenna is gonna be facing, if the main entrance of the building is on the north side, no, the east side of the building, you know, if I go highway size, you know, east side, facing east, this antenna is gonna be facing the rear of the building, in other words, to the west side of the building?
So the antenna azimuths are,
Yeah, sorry, to give you an example, going Memorial Drive, going down to the headquarters, and pointing that way to the mountains and the Great Falls. The antenna is gonna be pointed that way?
so there are 3 sectors of antennas, which is typical with this type of site. One is directed at 100 degrees with respect to true north, another at 190, and another at 335. So that's roughly due east, due south, and due northwest.
I have a question. I just have a quick question. I have to interrupt you, I'm sorry. Are these antennas gonna face the same way they're facing now?
No.
I don't have
In other words,
detailed drawings.
you're trying to get the coverage, okay, so they have to go in a certain area to get this coverage, correct? They have to face a certain way to get this coverage.
Correct. But the reason I asked this question, Madam Chair, is because in the other building, as they stated in the beginning, it was facing different ways. So it was not facing the way that they are facing it now. They were facing almost the whole entire building all the way around in east, west, northwest, and whatever. And what I want to bring forward is to the commissioners and to understand that the process is you have, first of all, you have a report on how much exposure you're going to have from those antennas. And second, you have a multi-level building of seniors, okay, in the other opposite side of the building. That's higher.
I know what you're saying, but I believe that they've already testified that it's minimal according to to Verizon. Am I correct?
Yeah, we're compliant. We're compliant with the FCC guidelines.
Of course you're gonna be compliant. These towers are all over the place and no one's, everyone's fine. And I need the coverage. I have Verizon, but.
Madam Chair, I'm gonna respect your opinion regarding what should be up in Paterson, what should not be up in Paterson. But one of the things is that I read a lot about science. I read a lot about
Oh, that's fine. I'm not denying that, Councilman. I'm not denying that.
And the reason is that we don't want, without putting it on the record, okay, what would be my concern, and if they could clarify this concern. So far, they haven't clarified the concern about exposure because they don't have a full report of exposure. Now, they could have that the antenna is being in another place, that is going to be less antenna in this one and the other one. Yes, it's less antenna, but it's going to be covering northeast, southeast, west, east. It's going to cover around the city, okay? And the level of
yes, and I'm glad it's going to be covering around the city because I need coverage, and we do need coverage in this town. And I know it went on record, Councilman, with all due respect. Your questions have gone on the record, okay? If they're able to answer it, they'll answer it. If they, excuse me. No, excuse me. I'm running this meeting and I'm telling you, okay, that they are trying to go on record. If they can answer the question, fine, but let's not belabor the point. Can you answer his question?
So let me.
Yes, I can.
Good, please do.
Yeah, please, because I got another question.
Good. Please answer. If you can answer it, fine. If not, we're moving on, please.
So,
Go ahead.
in my opinion, we've satisfied our burden of demonstrating compliance with the FCC guidelines with respect to 4G, 5G, 3G, and the FCC guidelines don't specifically require a breakout of the 5G, the individual component of 5G exposure. I've done my best based on the report we have to enumerate that to the councilman. However, we've satisfied our burden of demonstrating compliance.
Alright, so let me,
Just did one thing.
let me.
Excuse me, Mr. Ferraro has something to say, please, go ahead.
Okay.
I don't mean to interrupt anybody, I just want the record to be clear. Did market report from Mr. Peterson, specifically with respect to the emissions for the site, that takes into account the cumulative impact of all the frequencies and all
I have to intervene. It's, this meeting has in and outs, I can't even understand. Melinda, can you hear them? Melinda,
out there.
Yes,
Melinda, can you hear everyone? Cause I'm going in and out.
Mr. Ferraro once in a while comes in and out.
that's right.
Mr. Ferraro, I need you to talk slower. And
Into the mic, into the mic.
And anyone else who intervenes, I will have to mute you because it is a matter of respect at this point.
Go ahead.
Okay, Chairwoman?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Ferraro, please, just, if you can, say what you know, you're kinda, I lost your face, but that's okay, if we can hear you, that's wonderful.
Okay, very briefly, we submitted a report that indicates that the cumulative RF emissions from the site were 3.1% of the FCC allowable limit. So that includes every frequency, every technology being proposed at the site. It's only 3%. So I want to be clear that we did provide a full report on this.
Yes,
And it unequivocally shows that we're more than 33 times below what the
Yes.
FCC will allow.
yes, I saw the report, it was posted before, that's the report you're referring to, yes, it was posted. So, that being said, please ask your next question,
Yes, correct, thank you.
Councilman, please ask your next question.
Yeah, my question is, to anybody that is here, including you, Madam Chair. You can answer the question. I believe that you understand my role here in this board.
Yes, I do, and I understand that you understand my role.
Your role is to run the meeting.
That's right.
A fair interruption. That if you interrupt, you have the level of respect to.
Do you have a question, Councilman Velez?
Yes, I do.
State it.
This action of your board, Madam Chair, is not new. And I didn't want to bring it personally here or at this platform, but it's not new since I got to this board. But my question is, after this is approved, do anybody in here in this podium, the forum, receive complaints about how this towers got up here and without informing the community and without informing people or without this or without that?
Mr. Acquaviva, can you answer that, sir?
Councilman, I'm not quite sure where you're going with this question. Notification has been made to the owners that need to be notified. All those with the 200 feet perimeter of the building, they were notified. Those certified receipts were provided, if I can finish please, those certified receipts were provided. They were deemed accurate, the application was deemed complete, all the statutory notice has been complied with. So there's nothing more that's required than what was done. I'm not quite sure what the relevance of your question is. They don't have an obligation to send a letter to every single citizen in the city of Paterson. They have an obligation to send a letter that the statute requires them to send a letter to, and they did.
I'm not saying to send a letter to every single resident of Paterson. I didn't say that. I said if you receive, after this is approved, if the chairwoman, if anybody in this forum gets called, okay, to asking how this process went through, how this
Councilman, no.
I have to really ask everyone to let the court reporter hear one by one.
Madam
Chair, can I ask a question? No, not yet, Commissioner, I'll get to you, I promise.
I gotta have you all mute your mics. It's out of control, I cannot figure it out, but we need the court reporter to really listen to everyone.
Madam Secretary, this is Al Acquaviva speaking. Councilman, again, Okay, there's nothing, in regard to your question, I would answer that question the exact same way if you ask it about any other application that is approved by this board. And that is, if there is a problem with the application later on, when the project is completed, anyone has the same mode of relief. Contact the authorities, contact the construction officials, contact whoever has the authority to address what's there. What is being reviewed tonight by the board is whether or not these cell towers, or I should say this property, can be conditionally used for the purposes of these cell towers. We heard testimony today from the applicant as to why they should be, and the major objective is to determine whether or not they are safe. Unless I'm missing something, the applicant has testified to experts that it is safe and complies with the FCC regulations. So, again, Councilman, most respectfully, I don't understand what your question is relating to.
Al, it's not that you don't understand my question. I'll leave you with this question. Is that if you notice, when I got into rough, I was asking questions to put on the record for people when they had complaints. All those questions were put on the record to make sure that we do the fair vote on it.
That's unnecessary.
But you have a Madam Chair interrupting me and then trying to say that I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's on record. It's on record. We've never had complaints for any other cell towers, that's all I'm gonna say. So I wanna move on. Do you have another question?
We do want to get a lot of complaints to council.
Well, do you have another question?
Let me answer your question with the question, okay? Let's assume that this was an application to build a 3-story building and the board approves it. And the applicant builds a 5-story building. What's the mode of relief for somebody who sees a 5-story building where a 3-story building should have been?
Al, the difference between a building
You're missing my point. You're missing my point. My point is...
Excuse me, Chairwoman, can you mute your mic? Thank you. I'm having a lot of interruption. I do understand, but I cannot have everybody, once again, when I have IT telling me that there's interruption. Do not speak over each other. It is not respectful to the court reporter. Mr. Aquilina, you speak. Councilman Velez listen, or vice versa. I cannot do this anymore. I'm sorry.
Councilman, here's the point. The applicant, and I'm assuming they're going to conclude their testimony very, very soon, for the most part has put their application on the record and the reasons, in its opinion, why it should be approved. The board, like any other application, is going to make a determination on that testimony, and if there's any other testimony to be heard, whether or not the application should be approved. Now, Madam Chair, if I heard correctly, no members from the public responded.
That is correct, and I'd like to get past this question. If there's another question, I want to hear it now.
Okay, so effectively, I don't know if that answers your question, Councilman, but like I said, in terms of what you're asking, it is no different than any other application. The board will make a determination whether it should be approved or not, and then we move on from there.
I will remove all my questions for now, but I will make a comment later on if it's possible.
Sure. Madam Chair?
Yes, I think Commissioner Brooks had a question. Commissioner Brooks? Commissioner,
My question is, I think for Mr. Ferrero, this technology that is of concern for Mr. Councilman Velez, is it not technology that is being used all over the world now that has changed from the 4G to the 5G technology? Isn't that the way it's working? I mean, Verizon is not the only one that's using the 5G technology, from my understanding. It's being used by others in the telecommunication field.
Under oath, I'm not going to testify, but anecdotally, I can tell you my experience. My experience is at Verizon, AT&T, they are all deploying 5G technology, and it's already deployed in a large number of locations. So this is not something that is just specific to Paterson, this type of new technology is being deployed throughout the networks of all the major carriers. Because, quite frankly, this type of data services is just floating. It's not buffering, actually exploding. So,
Exactly.
I just want to stress one last time. The report that we gave says that we are compliant only 3.1%.
Yes,
Includes the 5G component, as well as all the other technologies that were.
exactly.
So
That was just my question to you because I read up on it. And I know that the 5G technology is the newest for the telecommunications places that's going all over mobile, all of them are doing it now. And when they replace the old ones, they replace it with the 5G. That's just something that's gonna happen all over the world.
correct, and when will be a 6G?
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other commissioners that have any other questions of Mr. Peterson? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Ferrero, would you please call your next witness?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is.
You know, you're breaking up again. I don't know what's going on. I think that the court stenographer is having a hard time hearing you because you keep breaking up. Maybe you could talk maybe into the mic. I don't know.
I might have a bad mic.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
It's a little better if you come forward because
Yeah.
I don't have
Yeah.
interruption now.
Okay.
Alright.
If you would like, you can take your face off and get closer to your computer. It will work.
Does this sound better?
Okay, there's background noise, so everybody mute your mics. I think he's gonna be okay.
Okay, does this sound better?
Yes, it does. Please call your next witness.
Okay, thank you. Our next witness is Frank Paterson, our professional architect.
Mr. Paterson, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your full name for the record, spell your last name, please.
Frank Colasurdo, Colasurdo.
And Mr. Paterson, could you please review your background and qualifications?
Yes, I graduated from New York Institute of Technology in 1990 with a Bachelor's of Architecture degree. I was licensed by the state of New Jersey in 1996 to practice architecture. I currently hold that license in several of the states. I've been responsible for designing wireless communications since I've been licensed even prior to that. I've also testified several times in Paterson with respect to proposed wireless telecommunications facilities from companies like Verizon, Nextel, Sprint.
We accept him as an expert. We accept him as an expert witness. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Paterson, the plans that were submitted last revised 8/24/2020, were they prepared by you under your supervision?
That's correct.
Okay. And could you please start by reviewing the existing conditions, existing uses at the site, as well as what's being proposed?
Okay, I'm not going to get too detailed because the report that we got summarized everything very well as far as existing conditions, but we are dealing with 3 lots with one building. The building is a 4-story building. The building is used by, the owner says Bell Atlantic, but it's a landline building that has data processing equipment in it. That's where I guess the landlines originate, and wireless communications as well enters that building and is sent out to whatever location it needs to be through the underground landlines. It's a masonry building, all concrete on the inside, a lot of bells and whistles. It's what we would consider a data critical facility. So in other words, it takes a lot for a building like that to lose power. It usually has 2 power sources plus backup power. It usually has 2 different ways that the telephone service enters it. So it's a mission critical facility. So it's built very robust. My client, Verizon Wireless, is proposing to relocate an existing facility they have from one building to this one. And the way that is achieved, if approved by this board, Verizon will install 9 antennas on the subject parcel building. as well as 4 radio cabinets on the roof. They'll be supported from structural concrete columns. We'll be attaching a steel platform, so don't want you to think the cabinets are resting directly on the roof. They're not. We have a structural steel frame below them that is attached to the structural concrete columns of the building, and all that weight and load is transferred to the foundation. There are 3 separate sets of antennas, the alpha, beta, and gamma. You heard my RF engineer talk about that. 3 antennas each. There are some associated accessory equipment associated with each sector. We refer to those as RRH units and OBP. They help the signal of the antenna itself. The size of the antennas are 72 inches tall, 11.9 inches wide, and 7.1 inches deep. The cabinets are 32 inches by 32 inches by 74 inches tall. It's approximately the size of a small refrigerator. We are proposing 2 GPS units. Those are technically not antennas, they're receive only. They are about the size of a smoke detector. They help this site synchronize itself with those other sites that Mr. Peterson showed you on his propagation maps. Some quick facility characteristics. The facility is designed to be unmanned, so there's no employees, no traffic generated, vehicle traffic, no parking issues. Being unmanned, it doesn't generate any solid waste. Any sanitary sewers don't need produce any sewage, don't need any potable water. What we do need is an electric line, electric service, and a fiber service, and that's all originating from inside the building. Since this is a data center, it's all located right there, and I'm happy to report that the power that we're going to receive from inside also has battery backup. So it's going to be a pretty robust system once we put it up. It'll get through storms. The equipment itself doesn't produce any smoke, glare, odor, or noise. And it's very simple and benign. One thing I do want the board to know is, even though we don't have permanent employees on site, an employee would visit this facility once every 4 to 6 weeks to make sure everything looks right, make sure nothing is malfunctioning. But it is also monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week through a series of silent alarms. So if something malfunctions, if one of the antennas malfunctions or some of the equipment malfunctions, they'll get a silent alarm is run through the system, through the line lines to a Verizon monitoring facility that's monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If there is an alarm, a technician is dispatched, they'll be on site within an hour to make sure everything is working or fix it if there's a problem. So I want you to know, since we don't have permanent employees, Verizon is watching this facility 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's all I got, Frank.
Okay, Mr. Colasurdo, with respect to the antenna height here, the antennas are going to be 7 feet above the parapet, is that correct? Or if you were going to allow it above 15?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And the antennas themselves will actually be below the existing mechanical equipment on the penthouse?
That's correct.
Okay. And will there be any impact on the existing non-conforming front yard or lot coverage?
No.
And will be creating any new variances as a result of this application?
No, sir.
With respect to, is there any commercial signage being proposed?
No.
Any lighting to speak of?
There is lighting. We do have a light located on top of the equipment platform. That is a twin LED light. And if my technician does have to come in the middle of the night to repair the equipment, we have to light on his platform for performance work.
Okay. And Verizon will submit a full structural report to the building department for review?
Yes, the building department and this board, they will have to copy.
And then finally, the commissioner had a question about how long it would take to build this site. Did you have insight into that?
I would say, a site like this, I don't know, for 6 to 8 weeks, or weather permitting, 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay. And to confirm, it's Verizon's plan to make sure this site is built before the site to be decommissioned is taken offline.
That's my understanding. This site will be up and running, and then they can decommission the other site, so there's no loss of coverage.
Okay, so in your professional opinion, do you believe the site can accommodate this additional use?
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Madam Chair, no further questions?
Yeah, Mr. Ferraro, how many other witnesses do you have?
I have one.
Is that Mr. Kwong?
That is correct.
And his title?
He is our professional planner.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to, bring him on. Let's hear his testimony, and then I'll bring it out to the public.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Then we will call Tim Cronk, who is our professional planner.
Mr. Kwan, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your full name for the record.
Timothy M. Kronk, K-R-O-N-K.
Thank you.
Okay, and Mr. Cronk, if you please review your background qualifications for the board and public.
Yes, I have a Bachelor of Science from the University of Massachusetts. I have 27 years of land use experience, predominantly in New Jersey. I am a New Jersey licensed professional planner and an AICP certified planner. I have testified throughout the state and been accepted as an expert in the area of land use planning, and I have been accepted by this both Paterson Planning and Zoning Board on prior occasions.
Do you accept him as an expert witness? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Cronk, you are the planner on this application. We don't have any variances, but you did prepare the photo simulations, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And the photo simulations are in the board's packet. Council, would you like me to mark these, or since they're part of the application?
Were they submitted, or are they a part of what was submitted?
They were a separate report submitted with the application, the plans.
Okay, then there's no need to mark them.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Cronk, is Verizon proposing some stealth material around the antennas?
Yes, they are proposing a reflective material to be installed on the antennas. This is a 3M product that works very well in situations where antennas are located above it and the actual building rooftop or parapet. When you mount the antennas to a building facade, they blend in best if you match the antennas to the material of the building. But in the situation where you're above the actual building structure, this reflective material picks up whatever the sky happens to be that day or the surrounding trees, buildings, and it works very well in this type of situation. And that's the material that was used in the photo simulations in the after. You'll see each of the simulations does show a reflective material on the antennas, and it's simulated to show whatever the sky or the clouds are that day.
Okay, so then rather than simply painting the antennas a static gray when it's a blue sky day, these antennas will adapt to the environment?
Yes. This material does a much more effective job at blending into the varied skyscape that we have here in New Jersey.
Okay. And based upon your review of the ordinance and the application and the testimony, do you believe that Verizon Wireless has met all the conditional use requirements in the ordinance?
Yes, based upon the testimony that was provided this evening by the radio frequency engineer who addressed the higher priority zones, and based upon the testimony of the architect as well as the review of the wireless telecommunications ordinance, I do believe that Verizon Wireless does meet all the conditional use requirements for the grant of the conditional use approval on this application.
Okay, and as you indicated, you believe this concealment film will help the antennas integrate into the background and the building so as not to cause any significant visual impact to the surrounding area?
Yes, a combination of the radio frequency engineer's testimony that the antennas are located at the minimum height required for Verizon to replace the existing coverage from the relocated site, as well as the reflective material that is proposed on the for the antennas, I think is the best alternative for camouflaging in this situation.
Okay. Mr. Brown, anything else you'd like to add? If not, Madam Chair, I have no further questions.
Nope, I think that covers everything.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, I'm going to open up questions to anyone from the public. They may call in by dialing 973-321-1579, and the meeting ID number is 711-680-001. 2 minutes for call-in, 3 minutes for questions. Thank you.
Chairwoman Norton, we have no callers at this time. If I do, while you ask the commissioners, I will interrupt and say we have a caller, but at this time, we have no callers.
Okay, all right, fine. Okay, so I'm gonna open up the questions to the commissioners. If any of the commissioners have any questions, I hope I pronounce his name right, forgive me if I don't, Mr. Calicourto and Mr. Kwong. If anyone has any questions of either one of those two gentlemen, okay, please speak up.
Chairwoman, this is Commissioner McGee.
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner.
I think I should address this question to the architect. My question is, since the antennas are going to be on an existing building, so the question is whether the rooftop structure has enough ability to support these antennas?
Yes, the roof has enough structural capacity to support the antennas.
Okay. And the second question, would you address, Chairman, can I go for the second question?
Yes, absolutely, go ahead. Go ahead, go ahead.
If the new addition or update will create no job opportunities, any you think?
I believe the commissioner is asking if this particular project is gonna create any job opportunities. I tend to say no, because this is all just a transition, but I will ask, can anyone answer that? Mr. Cronk, Mr. Calicourto? Anyone?
That's not my expertise, I couldn't tell you.
Madam Chair, what I did say is that we believe that the service will be a benefit to all the business owners and all the homeowners
Right.
surrounding areas in the city who would otherwise be without service. So while it may not create jobs or construction jobs, it will certainly benefit those who are working and whether at home or in their businesses.
No doubt. Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions from any other commissioners? Either one of you gentlemen? You're welcome. Yes, Commissioner Cleaves, please.
I just want to say to the architect, thank you for answering my question from earlier.
Okay.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Madam Chair,
Yes?
just to continue on the question of the commissioner asking if it's gonna create jobs or not, of course not, it's not gonna create jobs, but I believe that the Verizon building, it did not exist in Paterson, our revenue will go down because then nobody will be paying taxes. So
Well, that's for sure.
very important.
That's for sure. Okay, so, at this time, we have no other questions from any other commissioners? Okay, I don't hear any, so at this time, I'm gonna ask Mr. Ferrara to summarize, please.
Madam Chair, we have no callers at this time, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Ferrara?
I'm gonna try to do this properly with the video on, but,
Okay, wait, we can hear you.
okay, Madam Chair, we're gonna rely on the testimony of our experts. I think they covered everything. I think the board understands this is a straightforward scenario. We're losing a site, we have to replace it. It has to be in the same area. These are very similar facilities, the one that's getting taken down, the one that's going in. So we're just looking to make sure that we maintain and also improve the service in the downtown area. And that's why we respectfully request the board's affirmative vote for this application. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Would any commissioner like to make a motion on this application, please? Commissioners?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Commissioner Brooks, please.
Just a minute. When the application, 1 minute. In the application of New York SMSA Limited Partnership, right, versus DBA Verizon Wireless, 180 Washington Valley Road, Bedminster, New Jersey, for the property located at 67-85 Hamilton Avenue, 70-92 Hamilton Avenue, and 8587 Fear Street, block 3708, block 2, 3, and 4, be approved subject to conditional use approval, site plan approval, bulk variance, and city engineer.
I will second. Commissioner Cleese seconded.
Okay, Commissioner Cleaves seconded the motion. Roll call, please.
One moment, please. Commissioners. Commissioner, your vote is yes or no, but Commissioner Fisher, how are you? What is your vote this evening?
Is Commissioner Fisher here?
Yes, he was.
I haven't seen him.
Me either.
Well, I'm sorry he was earlier. Anyway, so we're gonna go with Commissioner Ahmed. He's not here either. Yes, he is.
There he is.
So your vote is yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Savalos.
My vote is yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Cleaves.
Yes.
Commissioner Santana.
Yes.
Commissioner Issa's absent. Commissioner Udine.
It's a yes.
Commissioner Cook is absent. Councilman Velez.
Before I go to vote, I know they didn't give me a chance to make a comment. Based on the question that I made, and actually, I had to put in the record, and I hope this our leaders understand that we have people listening to this meeting, and we don't make crazy decisions based on people install. Based on the facts that is bringing forward. Federal Communication Commission give 0.001% of exposure on the cell towers and 5G, even 4G, even 3G, even 2G. The World Health Organization confirmed that the limited exposure of cell towers are still limited, and they cannot even prove that cancer is created from cell towers. So, American Cancer Society also confirmed that is a limited exposure regarding cell towers. The reason I bring my question is so people would know out there that we don't sit here just approve things just because we want to. We get the facts, we put all the questions on records, and we move forward with the answers and questions that we put forward and the answers that they gave us, able to have a right decision in everything. So I'm asking here kind of the way I am? No, I didn't say make the town a slow one. I think it's important to me that we are here making sure that we do the job. Of course, it's not going to create jobs, it's not going to create revenue in the aspect of jobs. But yes, it's already creating revenue because that piece of land, that building, is already bringing revenues to the city as former tax, as a taxpayer. So saying that, ladies and gentlemen, my vote is yes because we need to get my Verizon. That's why I get a nice renovation now because my Verizon still works. So my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman Velez, and, please make it noted that Commissioner Fisher, was not able to attend this evening. He had other
Right,
webinar sessions as a teacher. I just wanted to put that on the record because we
Great.
wanted to connect. And my last, vote is for Chairwoman Norfolk.
Yes, congratulations. I need my Verizon also.
So the application of the SMSA, New York SMSA Limited Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless, 6785 Hamilton Avenue, has been granted. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, commissioners, don't leave. We have some other business to do. Congratulations to everyone. Be safe and have a good holiday. But our commissioners, we have to do resolutions. We have about 7 of them. So, Mr. Aquaviva, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Director.
And Melinda, are you ready? I am ready.
Mr. Aquaviva, yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready.
First resolution is on the application of 301-307 Venturo LLC for the property located at 301-307 East 22nd Street and 170, 176 7th Avenue, Block 2710, lots 10 and 11. The property being located in the R3 high medium density residential district. The applicant sought site plan approval on both variances to perform interior residential renovations to the existing mixed-use building. The board heard and approved this matter at its November 4th, 2020 meeting. Do I have a motion?
Before you begin, the commissioners that cannot vote is Commissioner Councilman Velez and Commissioner Savalos. Anyone else can vote. First motion, please.
So moved. All right, so now I heard Commissioner Santana move and Commissioner Brooks second? Yes. Okay, roll call please.
Thank you. I just felt it was easier to have the ones that were not present.
Yeah.
Okay,
Makes sense.
thank you. Okay. Commissioners, Commissioner Ahmed, yes or no, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Brooks? Commissioner Brooks? Commissioner Cleaves?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Cleaves?
Yes.
Commissioner Santana?
Yes.
Commissioner Udine?
Yes.
And Chairwoman Norfolk?
Yes.
This resolution has been adopted. Continue.
Excuse me, on the application of JCM Investors 1012 LLC, for the property located at 154-156 Hamilton Avenue, Block 3612, Lot 4.01 and Lot 4.02. The property is located in the RA2 zone of the 4th Ward redevelopment plan. The applicant seeks site plan approval and bulk variances to construct a 4-story residential building with a total of 15 units of 2 vacant lots. The board heard and approved this application as November 16, 2020 special meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Commissioner Norfolk?
Second, Commissioner Santana?
Commissioner Santana seconded, roll call?
Mr. Aquaviva, can you read out the names, because I do not have this one with me.
Names of the commissioners?
Yes,
I can vote.
I can
Let me get to the bottom of the
I think
resolution.
I mixed it up, so I don't see it here.
Sure. I have, let's see, the members that were at this, meeting were Commissioner Fisher, who's not here tonight, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Alright, Commissioner Brooks abstained, so she cannot vote. Commissioner Savalas.
I got it. Thank you very much. I just found it. I'm sorry, but this is what I do. The only commissioner I do see that is not allowed to, vote is Commissioner Brooks.
Okay, so roll call. I made the motion, Commissioner Santana was seconded.
Commissioner Santana, is that a yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioners, Commissioner Fisher is absent, Commissioner Brooks abstained, Commissioner Swallows. Commissioner Ceballos,
Yes.
Commissioner Cleaves,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook is absent, Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Commissioner Udine,
Yes.
and Chairwoman Northrup.
Yes.
This application has been granted, thank you.
On the application of 225 Grand Street LLC for the property located at 183, 229 Grand Street and 2-14 Morris Street, lot 4802, lots 23, 24, and 25. The property being located in the Great Falls Historical District, B3, where commercial development zoning applies. The applicant sought site plan approval on both variances to renovate existing interior space and demolish the existing one-story frame building and a two-story masonry building to build a proposed elevated gymnasium of 11,567 square feet, which is to have parking beneath it. The board heard and approved this application at its October 15th, 2020 special meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second by Commissioner. I didn't hear who did the second. I heard Commissioner Santana, maybe Commissioner Cleaves, the two of them.
Yes.
I heard Santana, I'm not sure.
I heard Commissioner Cleaves, and I heard Commissioner Udine, but I think that came in a little bit late. So I made the motion, Santana and Cleaves, second it, roll call.
Commissioners, Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Cleaves,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana, Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Commissioner Udine,
Yes.
Commissioner Councilman Velez, I apologize. Councilman Velez?
I don't see him there.
Okay. Chairwoman Northrup?
Yes.
Thank you. This resolution has been adopted.
Okay, on the application of Chestnut Partners LLC for the property located at 206-208 Redwood Avenue, lot 1006, lot 55. The property being located in the R3 high medium density residential district. The applicant sought to demolish the existing two-story frame building on the parcel and construct a four-story, 16-unit residential building on the lot now or formerly containing a mixed-use building. The board considered and approved this matter at its October 26, 2020 special meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Udine. Okay, roll call.
One moment, please. Okay, this is Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Cleaves,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Commissioner Udine,
Yes.
and Chairwoman Northrup.
Yes.
This resolution has been adopted.
On the application of JCM Investors 1012 LLC, for the property located at 122 Fair Street, lot 1314, lot 3. The property being located in the R82 zone of the 4th Ward redevelopment plan. The applicant sought site plan approval and both variances to construct a new two-story residential building with a total of 6 units on a vacant lot. The board heard and approved this application at its November 16, 2020 special meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Udine. Can I roll call, please?
One moment, please, while I write this down.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioners, Commissioner Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Ceballos,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Commissioner Eugene,
Yes.
Chairwoman North.
Yes.
Thank you. This resolution has been adopted.
On the application of Mohammed Othman for the property located at 16-18 and 20 Robert Street, block 6709, lots 26 and 27. Property located in the R3 high medium density residential zone. The applicant sought site plan approval on both variances to construct a new 3-story, 2-family dwelling with 3 bedrooms in each of the units of the 2-family dwellings proposed on both lots 26 and 27. The board heard and approved this matter at November 4th, 2020 regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
On the resolution, I would like to call out the members that will vote.
Okay.
The members that will vote are Brooks, Commissioner Brooks, Acting Chairman Savalos, Cleve, Santana, and Councilman Paterson, Commissioner Cook.
And what about me?
You were not here, ma'am. We had an acting chair, Mr. Savalos.
When was that?
This was November 4th.
Okay. So moved.
Thank
So moved by Commissioner Brooks, second by Commissioner Santana. That was the second. Roll call.
Commissioner Brooks,
Yes.
Acting Chairman, Savalos. Commissioner Savalos.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Cleves.
Yes.
Commissioner Santana.
Yes.
Thank you. This resolution has been adopted.
Okay, on the application of Tetrad Investments LLC for the property located at 152 16th Avenue, block 1412, lot 15. The property being located in the RA2 zone of the 5th Ward redevelopment plan. The applicant proposes to construct a new 3-story residential building with a total of 5 units. The board considered and approved this application as October 5, 2020 special meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Excuse me, before you continue, I'd like to say to the commissioners which one can vote.
Okay.
Chairwoman Northrop, the Commissioner Santana, Commissioner Levine are the only ones that can vote.
Alright, so I moved it. Who's gonna second it?
Second.
Commissioner Dean, second it. Roll call.
Commissioners, Commissioner Santana.
Yes.
Commissioner Udine,
Yes.
and Chairwoman Northrop.
Yes.
Thank you. This resolution has been adopted.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Is there more? Is it?
That's it.
No, there's no more out? Okay. Okay, so with that being said, our next meeting is December 16th, am I correct, Mr. Deutsch? You're muted. Okay,
December 15th.
December 16th.
December 16th.
Okay, got it. Okay. Everyone, please be safe. It's getting bad out there with the virus. Be safe. Everybody enjoy, and I'll see you all on the 16th. Thank you. Have a good
Have a
evening.
good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night now.
Commissioners, staff, good night.
Good night. Oh.